Having a lovely week so far. My name is Dr. Swaleh. I come from Mombasa. I'm an obstetrician gynecologist, and most importantly, I am a proud FBO. And I would like to take you through the very important lessons that I'm learning myself on the beautiful power of hearing the word no. And it's funny, it's not a word we like to hear, especially in the business we're in. You may have to tell me if I'm still audible even as we go. Okay. So it's not a word you would like to hear. It's a very big hit to our ego. It's a very big hit to our esteem, but it is also the most important thing you have to learn very early in this business to hear, and not just in this business. Generally, I have taught myself in my lifetime to keep hearing the word no. That way there are no surprises. Okay. And allow me to try and share my slides. Kindly confirm just by typing clear if you can read what I've just projected on the screen. Can you, okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Leader. I think my slides can be seen. So I'll just scroll through. I will also like to add a disclaimer that in as much as I'm projecting the slides, I will most likely be talking off my heart. So there are no projected slides that are in my heart. These ones are the ones that I just have to project, okay? So no here is going to be deemed as going to be equated to failure. And you need failure in your life. You cannot just ride on success. You need failure. And so then let's start by defining what failure is. And failure to me is a temporary defeat. It's not a permanent condition. It's temporary. It's not the opposite of success. So it's not black and white that, you know, if you're not having success, then you're having failure. No, it's a spectrum. And it's not a linear spectrum, to be exact. So it's part of success. It's on your way to success, that you're not starting from success and the opposite will be failure. No, it's just that on your way to success, what would be deemed as a delays is what we perceive as failures. And so then failure is usually feedback, a message that something needs to change, okay? And why this topic, especially to us who are logged in here as forever business owners? Because in our business, rejection is usually very frequent, and no sometimes feels like failure. And then it's not actually failure, it's feedback. And then learning to handle the word no can improve your mindset, can improve strategies, can improve results. Okay. And so then let me quickly take you into the business that we're in. We are in the multi-level marketing business. And what is this? It's a network-based marketing
Sorry,
strategy.
Linda.
Yeah. Am
Sorry.
I audible?
Yes, you have just tilt your screen because we can see the next slide.
You know what? I'm not reading off a slide. I'm just speaking.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Because now,
that's why I
okay.
started with a disclaimer. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So if guys came to screenshots, this may not be the presentation. I'll speak more than I'll actually project. So understanding your business, it means that it's a network-based marketing. Network-based. Underline, highlight, put in quotes, capitalize. Okay. And it focuses on two things: recruiting and product sales. So those are the two things you're going to be doing. And success depends on people, not you, on people, factors outside of you, okay, and persistence. So I usually say it's not just people, it's also the factors that you can control. It's your own persistence. And so then the psychology of rejection, before we even get to the slides here, is why does the no hurt? Why is no such a big deal? Because it hurts and bruises your ego. It instills fears and it amplifies your doubts. Okay, so you also have to understand that you may also be coming from a point of you have your own insecurities, and this no just amplifies what inherently you had inside of you. It is reframing rejection. It's not personal. You have to understand that it's just timing or fit, that at that precise moment the fit is not right, the timing is not right. Okay. And so the common reasons why you would talk to someone and they would tell you no, you would pitch an idea and they would tell you no, you would try to speak of a goodness of a product and they would tell you no, are usually mostly just four. Okay. Lack of trust. Okay. Poor timing. And I'll speak of lack of trust. If you're speaking of an idea, if you're speaking of a product, if you're speaking of something that even you yourself, you're not utterly 100% convinced about, the passion doesn't shine through, the conviction doesn't show. And so all you're doing is you're sounding like you're reading off a script. And I'll usually say these words: you sound salesy, you sound desperate. When someone is in a hurry to sell something, I usually tell my team, I can smell hunger. And the minute I smell hunger or desperation, then my instincts as the buyer or as the person you're talking to on the other side, my instincts are usually to retract. Okay? Confidence radiates off of people. Clarity radiates off of people. And that can only come from the conviction of what you're actually pitching. And this now, if we take it all the back, will always come from you being confident in whatever you're talking about. And so if I was to speak about products, if I spoke about Vitalize, I do not need to read. I do not need to, it does, no, I will speak of Vitalize like someone who has used Vitalize. If I spoke of a business idea that I'm convinced about, our business plan, I do not need a one-on-one book for me to tell you the business plan. I can wake up and I will tell you the business plan off my sleep. And so the conviction then usually radiates, okay? So number one, lack of trust. Number two, poor timing. It may not even be the pitch, it may not be anything. It may just be the person you found is not at the right space of mind or finances or even psychological. Okay, so it's just poor timing. Misunderstanding of what you're offering. Okay, you have to be very clear what you're pitching. And again, I'll always go back to what exactly are you pitching? You're either pitching the product, retailing, or you're pitching the business idea. You have to have profiled whoever you're talking to and understood that this is what I'm going to tell this person. This is what I'm sticking to. So if you are 50-50, you're just throwing all your seeds and you do not know what will take. Sometimes it sounds hazy as you feel, and the person you're pitching to also feels it. And so then they don't take any, okay? And then finally, prior bad experiences. You have to understand that you are not the first one doing this business. Someone has been before you. And, unfortunately and luckily, that people do not have the same good work ethics, that there are people who have come before you and may not have done the right thing, said the right words, convinced them of the right value. And here you are trying to sort of start from clearing their mess and then now trying to convince of a goodness. So back to my slides. Why you need failure, why failure is important is it builds resilience. It builds your mental strength. It encourages innovation and problem solving. This is what I mean. You've been told no, please go back to your shell, okay? Look at your words, look at your attitude, look at your knowledge database. You have to take stock. Why have I been told no, okay? It helps you to discover what doesn't work for you. It may have worked for someone else. Another leader may be using this method and it is working for them. But for you, you use the same method, it doesn't work with the clientele that you have or with the prospects that you have. It allows you, it forces you to go back, recalibrate, okay, re-strategize. And it teaches lessons in humility and patience. Subira, swabra. I am the most impatient person. I have seen an idea very clearly. I can see to the very end. And here I am trying to convince you, and you're not even getting that, we're starting here. And my God, the lessons I have learned when I'm being told no are too many. And all of them are directed towards my patience levels. If we are together, if I'm speaking to you, kindly just type Subira because we all need lessons in patience. You have a bigger picture, but the person you're talking to does not even understand why they need supplements to start with, leave alone this. marine collagen you're talking about. Leave alone the fact that marine collagen is this price point, okay? They do not know. So it helps you go back into yourself, restructure, come slowly and explain it to them like a 2-year-old, why they need this product, why they need this business idea, why they need to elevate their life. You're talking to people who may not even realize that their life needs elevation. My friend, you're the only one who has seen a problem in their lives, and they're very comfortable, okay? Then they're very, very comfortable. So that is why failure is important. Now, how do top performers handle no? Okay. Before I even tell you how they handle no, I'll have to make you understand that no is data for you. Like, you know, the way scientists collect data, no is data for you. You have to treat rejection as your market feedback. Hakuna kitu personal. Weka kwa lungs, pumua ikutoke. For the Ugandans who have not understood what I've said, put it in your lungs, breathe it out. Please don't catch feelings. That no is not about you. It is just market feedback. Okay? So you're not supposed to be told no, and then you step away from the client or from your prospect and you say, okay, fine, see you another time. You ask follow-up questions. So what is holding you back? Why is it a no? Okay, is it finances? Then it better clarifies that maybe the people you're approaching, financial muscle, you know, maybe they may not want to start with a starter pack that is 56. Maybe they may be better placed to start with a what? Preferred customer route. You understand? It clarifies how you approach. You come correct at your potential prospects. Subira. You have to go back into yourself and re-strategize. It's like you're going to war. This sword is not working. It is not shooting as I'd like to. No, 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 no. Go back, sharpen, sharpen. Okay? It is market feedback. Number two, what will make you reconsider? So imagine someone has just told you no, and you said, okay, fine, I hear you, I hear you, I hear you. But before I go, is there anything, any possible thing that I could do to make you reconsider? Is it like I should come another time? Maybe this is not the right time. So if they had lied, they're saying, no, this is not the right time. I said, okay, it's fine. When do I come? When is the right time? Imagine I hear you. Yeah, this economy, it's not also for quickly signing into businesses. I hear you. So when do I come? When do I? So it helps you cycle back, okay? And you're supposed to use it to refine your pitch, product, understanding, or timing. How many times have you gone and sold a product to a client and they ask you a question and you go in your head, you in your heart of hearts, you know, you do not know that data. Please do not lie. So at that point, if you have not sold because you did not have enough information, please learn to humbly use the words, you know what? Yeah, I know the benefits of supplements. And the question you've asked me, Aki, it has prompted me. Let me go and read more about it. I will come back. Give me a time tomorrow to call you back on it. Do not lie. Can a pregnant woman use this drug? Before you say, yeah, everybody can use. No, actually, come back and clarify. So it may look like a no for that time, but it allows you to go back to your knowledge base, refine, amplify, read more so that you're not coming back. You know what? I read. Mwanzo, if you're selling to me, and yesterday I asked you a question and you're not sure, so you did not sell. You went home without selling to me. And then the following day you come back and say, you know, Swabra, I read. Here, come, let me tell you. You can use it in pregnancy. You can use it when you're breastfeeding. You can do, hey, I will buy. Aki, it shows commitment. I will buy. If not for anything, I will buy just for your commitment. Okay. So even you as an FBO, it allows you to go and enrich yourself. So now let me tell you how top performers handle the word no. They stay professional. Okay. Not defensive. Aki, you're not selling C9 to someone. And then they say, Aki, imagine me, I don't even need it. Imagine, I feel like I can work. You're not supposed to say, you've been working out all your life, you've not lost weight. Do not abuse them. Do not catch feelings. So I understand. I really, really hope whatever method you're working or you're choosing works for you. And you know what? If you have a change of mind, let me know. Here's my number. Yeah, all the best. Da, 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 da. Keep it moving. Okay? Usieke feelings. Musieke feelings kabisa. Ati, someone rejects you, and then now you go later and say, you know what? They were not in that space to accommodate you, whether to buy or whether to sign or whether to, you understand, or even to hear you. Okay? They were not in that mental frame. You do not know what people are going through. They may have lost some, like you do not know their mental frame at the time you're talking to them. Okay, so stay professional, do not go defensive. Keep relationships warm. Here's the thing. I'm trying to sell a product. Hi, I have a very good product. Imagine I know your mom has arthritis. Da, 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 da. Ah, doc, imagine, no. She has taken all these drugs. I can't add anymore. Aki, imagine, no, doc. Aki, this time I'll have to tell you, doc, I can't take. No, I don't want. I said, imagine it's fine. Imagine it's really, really fine. I was coming from a very genuine point. I really, really hope then your mom finds a cure that she needs. Please keep me posted. And then if you ever need to ask anything about, just let me know, okay? Let me know. So you've kept the conduits open. It's a warm relationship. It doesn't look like it's black and white. Now, if you've not signed up, if you've not bought, if you've not, you're not my friend forever and ever. Now we're enemies. Sha. Okay? That's not how it works. Okay? Keep relationships warm. Keep the channels open. Okay? I like how one leader here said, like, you know, a prospect is a prospect, a prospective buyer is a prospective buyer until the day they die. So even though they don't buy now, you still get to text them another time, another year, until the day they die. So if you're going to have to reach out to them, even when they said no now, you have to sort of keep a very good, genuine relationship with them. Remember, we're building relationships here. It's not just the business of selling. Circle back later. And this is it. This is the heart of it. That the fortune lies in the follow-up. Circle back later. Many no's are actually very temporary in nature. Many no's are not, permanent. Hata dem akikatiwa, she says no, even when she knows in her heart of hearts it's yes. People, you know that. You can't just say yes. You have to play it difficult. So always assume that whatever you're being told as no, it's a no for now. I'll just come back later with a different strategy through a different way. Okay. And then thank them. Say thank you for your honesty. And I like this point. Aki, the person who tells you no has saved you a lot of time, other than someone who keeps you on a string, who strings you along. And just say, maybe, you know what, check with me next week, check with me 2 weeks from now. Check, you'll keep checking and that person is not going to sign up. I appreciate the person who says, Swabra, no, not now. I cannot, not now. Please. Maybe in the next 2 years or maybe never, it's fine because it allows me then to direct my energy, to direct my time to other potential. Imagine I have a whole list of 2,000 plus. How will I ever address all that list if I keep persisting on this one person who was never going to sign up and is never telling me? Okay, so I usually say it is important to thank them for their honesty. Okay, good. So learning through your failure means that each failure is a lesson. You understand yourself better, where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, and what your reactions are. So this is introspection. This is on you. This is nothing to do with the person you're talking about. That, okay, I've gone out and I've prospected and I'm new in this business and I'm getting more no's. Okay, is it something I had a downline today in my office and we sat for like 2 hours and we're just talking. Swabra, is it my personality? Is it how are you selling? I know the products, I know the benefits. You teach us the benefits every single week. But how comes I'm not able to? I know that I said, you know what? Look at your language, look at your strengths. Maybe you're trying to do the business like how someone else next to you is doing the business and not doing the business your own way. I like how my outline, Grace Gadu, usually says, she does forever her way. And I love that. You do the business your way. What is your language like? Okay? Are you an aggressive, pushy seller? Or are you a soft-hearted? Are you more into, selling benefits as opposed to not sounding like you're selling? Or are you going all out to just like, you know what, you need this and you need this in your life? Find your voice, clarify your voice, okay? And in the process, you'll also be very honest with yourself and find your weaknesses, okay? So my weaknesses, I'll speak for myself, for example, is I'm a very impatient person. By the time I'm coming to tell you about the business plan, I've also calculated your budget. I know you can afford it. So you can't even lie to me that you can't afford it. Me, I've already profiled you. And then now you're here telling me, doc, Sijui. And no, I'll say, no, I know you have money. So it's not even about and then now the patient, I mean, actually the patient, the client will tell me, or the prospect will tell me, no, it's not about money. I have money. I have it in my pocket right now. It says that I've not understood. So sometimes that takes me back. Oh, okay, sorry. Me, I thought it was about money. Me, I thought it was just about refusal. But actually, this person has not quite understood the concept. And then it allows me to, swallow humble pie, go back and okay, whatever it is that you feel is your weaknesses, you sort of work on that. For me, it has always been about patience, that I have a bigger picture, but someone is still boggled with the details. Okay, good. It refines your focus and clarifies your goal. And if you're to be honest, from the very first time you started prospecting, you started, retailing, it was easy. I usually keep my stats. By the way, every single person I've ever talked to about Forever appears in a list somewhere, is written down. And I mean that even my own sister and my own brother. So as long as I've talked to you about Forever, you're in a book. And so then I know exactly how many people I've talked to for the 1 year I've been in Forever. Okay. Now, all the no's are usually starred. So I keep a record of all my failures, because that means all the ones that are not starred are supposed to either be sales or recruits. Okay. So then I even know my percentage. When I was starting out, I promise you, it had to take almost 9 people for me to sign up one. Now I have clarified that language, that I know if I talk to 5, I will potentially sign one into the business the books. It's just, that's another story for another day. But if you can track those stats, that okay, when I was starting, things were a bit more difficult. I didn't have my voice, but then now I have my voice, and my voice is very clear. My conviction is very clear. Even when I go for jugular. Like when I start talking, I already know what you want to hear. I already know. I'm not going to tell you about travel. You don't like traveling. I'll tell you about the extra source of income. I'll talk about the benefits, because I know you have a sick child in that house. Or I know you're a lifeist. Yeah. This one likes to travel. I will not even talk about the benefits of a supplement. I'll start by showing you where people have gone in Singapore and Vietnam and Sijui. We're going to South Africa next year. So you clarify and you get your bullet point, right down pat, so that you now narrow your chances of a no. So it allows you to refine your focus. And you have to know that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success. Ukiapproach mtu yani sema tu ni 50-50. Tunaingia, we're either dying or I joke a lot, but you get my point. Failure builds your character. You become more bold. And I'll promise you, you become more bold. The Swabra that was starting out in Forever was sounding very much like a doctor. I'll speak for myself. I had to rely on my doctor voice, because I felt it was safer to sell supplements for me. And I promise you, most healthcare workers in this space will tell you that initially we start out and it is just the supplements and the supplements and the supplements. But you get courageous and you realize, hala, there's also skincare. And then you get courageous and you get bold, and you get bold with the business plan. And sometimes, you're just going for jugular and you're saying, you know what, at upper series, it's not about this one. We're just going for the business idea. You get bolder. I promise you, it's a muscle. Courage is a muscle. The more your voice shakes and you still speak, the lesser it shakes eventually. Okay? You build a muscle. Muscles are built by repetitive action. You lift a weight over and over until the muscle no longer feels pain. The muscle has become so big, the weight is below the muscle capacity. And that is the thing with courage. You do it over and over until you realize, Allah, what was I afraid of? Why? And then where? Let's do this. And then now you just thrown all the fear out of a window, and now you're just going. I mean, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You learn to take risks. You become more empathetic towards others' journeys. And this, especially, I'd like to highlight on the role of leaders here and our FBOs that we sign under us, that, may you never forget how you started in Forever, how your voice shook, because that downline that you have, the voice is shaking. They have not gotten bold like the way you've gotten bold. Okay. So it allows you to become a bit more empathetic, okay? You sort of understand people more, okay? So before we even go to the next step, where I actually show you live examples of people who failed terribly over and over and over, I would like to tell you of a few techniques on how to handle no positively. Kindly detach from the outcome. I know your outcome. I know you know what your outcome is. I know what you want. But please, you are not the outcome. You are the process. Okay? You want to learn the process. It is a process you're doing. Okay? Remember, we said no is towards the process of receiving a yes. So lean heavily onto the process and not on the outcome. Okay? We're talking processes here. Initially, please use scripts, use your tools. You have your one-to-one, you have your steps to manager, you have your catalog. Please carry your shield and armor. Aki, don't go with your life chest and take bullets. We were joking with my team. Someone tried to, not to say that doctors are not good people to sign, but if you're going to speak to, let me even use another example, a beautician on skincare, you had better know the language of skincare in and out, okay? And if you do not know that language offhand, kindly go with a book that allows you to speak the language of skincare, okay, properly. Because they're going to have questions, in-depth questions. Does it have retinol? Can I use with this? But you know, you're not supposed to combine retinol and to give vitamin C. And then what happens now? What? Oh, okay. Now, if you have not understood your data, please carry the tools that allow you so that you don't fumble. Because sometimes all you get is just one chance to pitch. You're going to sign a doctor and you're here talking about AGI, and you cannot talk about L-arginine and vasodilation and going that way. Atakuuliza, na ikishukisha pressure sana, what about hypotension? So how do you counter from that without the knowledge? You have to know your products. I usually say, if me, I'm bringing a product to you, trust me, that product that I'm bringing, I can die with it. Okay? I can die with it. So if you cannot die with it offered, die with it with your shield and armor. Your shield and armor is your tools, okay? Carry your script. You should also have a follow-up system. This is what I was talking about, cycle back. What you received as a no 3 months ago. Hey, someone may have gotten, you know, a bonus at work. They have spare money that they can now spare towards you. You know what? They may not have understood supplements then. And then life did the number on them, you know? And now finally they have understood that, you know, we are all headed into this organic alternative methods of medicine, okay? Like there's a client I really was trying to sell Omega, and I knew the child had ADHD. And I knew my Omega and my B12 would help because even there are papers on it. And she just kept going. And she wasted a lot of money on developmental doctors. And you know what? Eventually, I think she came across a paper that I've always been referring my patients to. Okay, the same paper. She said, Dr. Swabra, I've read somewhere that Omega, the one you're trying to say, just, but all along I was telling you about the same paper. This is almost 9 months down the line. And now I see her, she's not even in the business, she's just a consumer, but she's the biggest shouter of Omega and B12 and babies with ADHD. Okay, so just always circle back. Okay, and then personal growth. I could die on this point. Personal growth is non-negotiable. Read, train, practice. Read, train, practice. You're there. You don't know your product. You're not attending meetings. You're coofed. You've died. You don't have knowledge. So, you're there. You do not want to practice and receive several no's so that you learn how to get up from one no. So that means the next no that gets you, you're grounded. Okay? You train and you learn better. Actually, they say the best of teachers usually demonstrate that they're also the most knowledgeable. You can only replicate that which you have internalized. It is very rare that you will teach and even the subject that you're teaching about, you're just reading off slide. No, let me say You can tell some business by their ability to now break it down into bite-sized people can consume to get very complex data and put it into a very simplistic manner. That shows me understanding. So train within our teams, value addition within your sales. You're reading, you're going to YouTube, you're reading on products, you're attending all these trainings, and you are teaching yourself. You have subgroups where you have like Charity Gabana's 5 a.m. club, okay, where you're teaching yourself every morning. And then you are doing what? You are practicing. And this practice here can also mean, please, you're forming groups where you practice how you will turn each other down. Pretend this one is a seller, this one is a buyer. Sell me C9. Let me hit you with a nose. That even when the nose hit you out there, nothing new. I was already told that no in the team building. So now I already know how to receive a yes or how to stand up from that no or an answer to that no. Okay, good. Now, there are people in history, and I'll pick 3 categories. I'll pick people who generally we know them, the big people in this life, okay? Kina Oprah Winfrey, Kina Sijui, KFC people. And then there are people in science. Okay, I'm naturally skewed towards science. And then I'll also give you a few examples of people in our business, the multi-level marketing, who absolutely have received all manners of no's and somehow have become the greatest in this business of ours. So, for example, Walt Disney. Walt Disney is this owner, you know, the movies you watch, all the cartoons, most of the cartoons, okay? He was fired for how many times? He was fired actually from a newspaper job because he lacked imagination. Can you imagine? He lacked imagination. And then they also said he had no good ideas. They turned him down because he had no good ideas. His first animation company went bankrupt. And this is where he became successful. He went on to build Disney, one of the most successful entertainment empires in history. Michael Jordan, we know him for basketball. What happened to Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan, my friend, he was cut, do you know, in high school? He was cut from the basketball team. Can you imagine the teacher who cut him from the basketball team that he can't play basketball? What that teacher feels now. He was cut from the high school basketball team. He has failed, and this is his quote actually. I like using his quote. I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. I succeed because I have failed over and over and over. Now you cannot talk basketball without talking Michael Jordan. Okay, good. Oprah Winfrey. We all know Oprah Winfrey. What happened to Oprah Winfrey? Someone told her and fired her from a job as a TV anchor. Do you know what she was told? She was told she's unfit for television. The Oprah that we know, the princess, the queen of television, was unfit for television. She faced abuse and hardship in her life. Like if you're talking any kind of abuse, Oprah has been through it. And now she's one of the most influential media moguls and philanthropists globally. Okay, I could go on and on and on. Let me go into the people in science. Okay, there is a man. I'm trying to find his name. I wrote it down somewhere. We call him the father of hand washing. Okay. There's a man. 1 minute. Perfect. I found him. He's called Ignaz Semmelweis. So this guy is a scientist. He went to doctors and told them, you know what, as doctors, I propose that you wash your hands to reduce infections. You're the ones who are actually spreading infections to patients and, you know, the people you're serving. And he was dismissed and he was mocked by the medical community. He lost his position, by the way, as a department head. He's a German. But you know what? His work laid foundation for antiseptic procedures. Antiseptic procedures meaning every time before operation, I have to do a proper thorough scrub routine before I glove, before I wear my gown, so that I touch the patient. During Corona, you also the hand washing procedures that were going on. The father of hand washing is called Ignaz Semmelweis. We'll talk about Albert Einstein. He failed college entrance exam. Uyo, that very intelligent person failed college entrance exam because you have to understand that these exams, if you're telling a fish to fly, there are different targets you're putting for. You have to understand that. He also presented papers and journals which were rejected. They were not up to standard. Can you imagine? They were not up to standard. He struggled to find academic work, and he, imagine, for most of his life, Albert Einstein worked as a clerk. A clerk. Now we know him for physics, and his physics, the way he revolutionized relativity. Okay, he is a Nobel Prize winner, etc., etc. One more in medicine. Okay, Galileo. If you know anything to do with Galileo, you know that he's a father of modern medicine. I promise you, he received his first no from the church, okay? Because his support for heliocentrism. So heliocentrism is where we're talking about the sun-centered solar system, that the solar system is arranged around the sun. He proposed this, and the church said, no, 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 no. It's like, no, you're turning against God. This is like, we're worshiping God, And he was considered hearsay. He was tried by the Inquisition and he was put under house arrest for that statement, for that idea. Now he's called the father of medicine. And now we know for a fact that the solar system is arranged as he described it. Let's go to multi-level marketing. This one I had to do a bit of research, okay? We'll start with Holton Bags. I think this one worked with Organogold. It took 10 years in multi-level marketing for him before earning any significant income. Bonus, akuna, for 10 years. He recruited over 200 people and nearly all 200 quit. Imagine you prospect and you sign and then they quit on you. Or they sign up and then they don't do for CC. Let me bring it closer home. He lived paycheck to paycheck, often ridiculed for sticking with multi-level marketing as a company. Eventually, he's become one of the highest paid MLM leaders in the world, earns over 1 million per month at his peak, when he was at his peak. Let's pick Eric Wall. We know Eric Wall. He's very much alive with us. Network marketing pro, spent years trying multiple, very many, jumping from here to here to here to here, companies with little or no success. Then the breakthrough for him came when he realized, you know what, he needed to become a professional, not just a hopeful recruiter. And now he's a top trainer in this industry. Author of GoPro, has trained millions globally. These are success stories. These are all success stories. And these stories, I like that they all started with very many no's, not one, not two, probably more no's than you've ever had to take. Okay? Why? Why? Because their ideas were too new, too strange, or too early. That is what I want you to take home. Too new, too strange, too early. Your timing may not be your prospect's timing. There may be too new ideas for them to comprehend and see the picture. Too strange that you can actually earn money, self-generated, as opposed to receiving a salary. How now? Get out of here. No, you're lying. Sitaki. Okay? And they kept going despite professional rejection, social isolation, financial hardship. Wewe umekosa tu prospect moja, ushafunga duka. Okay? And eventually, truth, I'll add here in brackets, value and persistence won. Okay? So then how do you embrace failure? You who seated there listening to my presentation. Change your mindset. I like this, by the way. This one is, I'm going to patent it. I usually say, if you're going to fall, and you're always going to fall, please fall forward, stumble forward, okay? Never backwards, forward. Because even in your falling, you've taken a step forward, okay? It might not be a step per se as we know it, but it's a falling forward, okay? Separate yourself from your results. You are not a failure because you are going through a failing season. You're not your result. You are your process. Okay? Reflect, adapt, try again, go harder, refine, clarify, celebrate small progress after each setback. Okay? Come back and tell me where Upline Swabra. I sold. After several no's, I sold my first absorbency. I sold. Come, let me clap for you. Okay? So what happens if you avoid failure? Missed opportunities, because you know through the no's that we get our yeses, then you're making decisions based out of fear. And then of course you're not growing, because then your growth is not anchored on the yeses, your growth is anchored on the potential no's that eventually convert into yeses. Okay. And then here's also a big one. You have this very false sense of comfort. You're an airhead. You just want to be in your comfort zone where everything is easy, everything is a yes. So when will you grow muscle? You're very comfortable in front of your TV. You do not need to work out. When will you grow muscle? Okay? The muscle is there on the fighting ground, on the nose, uko kwa ground. Okay? Grow your muscle. Stop being comfortable. And then you're there giving a very false sense of, achievement. No, 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 no. The achievement is there. After dusting yourself, wiping the blood off, put the gloves again. Now let's go. That is winning, in my opinion. Okay? And accept the failure. Ask, what can I learn? Adjust your strategy. Try again, try again, try again, try again. Okay? Just so I don't repeat myself, I will end with a quote. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. That is from Winston Churchill. Asanteni sana. I welcome all questions. Thank you, Leader Emmanuel.
That was amazing. That was amazing. Do you have questions for Daktari? Do you have questions for Leader Swabra? Anyone? I'm just seeing comments, feedback. I guess people have been challenged to accept no's. All right. I believe we can close. That was worth it. Beautiful training. There's a comment there I will not respond to, so please forgive me. Yeah, so I think we can close for that. And for those of us who missed, as always, it will be on YouTube by tomorrow morning. Thank you, Doc, for that amazing session. Mindset has been open and challenged at the same time. Somebody's asking you, how do you deal with failure yourself? You can check that.
They call me Subira for a reason. I am the most impatient, but at the same time, patient person ever. Fun fact, I had a different name when I was born. I was not born as Swabra, but my father saw that I was the most impatient person and I did not take failures very well. And so they changed my name. I literally was named after my weakness. And so I have learned over and over. I am not after, my definition of success is seeing something through. I think I keep saying this quote over and over. I respect discipline more than I will ever respect talent. You can be born with the best of talents, with the best of, but if you do not have the discipline to see things to do, whether you stumble, whether you fall, whether you have setbacks, if you do not see things through, even that talent that you have is for naught. It doesn't matter. Okay? So discipline over talent. Discipline over talent. You get up and you fight, and we fight for another day. And you can take rest, you can take breaks, but you get up and you fight again. And you fight again. That's how I take failures. I just do it again like a fool.
Okay. Thank you. I think we can
Someone
close there.
asks, let me just take this one. How do you deal with lying clients? Why are you talking to lying clients? At least I usually say sometimes the profit you would have gotten from this person may not be worth it. So even as you're prospecting, you're looking into so many things. I want you on my team. You look like you can afford, but I do not like your work ethic. And I know we can't work together. And so then I would rather than not. it feels like you're losing out. But no, and I usually say, trust your gut sense, trust your sixth sense. Always tell when someone is not being truthful. I appreciate and know. But when someone is just taking me in circles, I usually have a very innate ability to pick up on that. And so I quickly just pause that conversation. I'll circle back to it when you have a clearer head. It's not about you who's prospecting, it's about them who is a liar. So step away from it. I think now I'm done.
Okay. I'm also done. Just want to appreciate you for the training. Appreciate everyone who tuned in. Have a good night. God bless and take care. Bye bye.